Before we jump into the latest Bears news and rumors, who is ready for the first training camp practice on Saturday? I know I am. If you are, hit that like button on today's video. I think we can get 1,000 likes on today's show, so go ahead and smash that like button. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Go ahead and dive in to the latest chatter around the Bears. And Kiran Amegadjie, a little injury update here, at least based on what we know. He's been placed on the NFI list, the non-football injury list, to start training camp. Rookies reported on Tuesday. Vets report on Friday. First practice on Saturday. And remember, he's been recovering from that major quad injury he suffered at Yale last season. Matt Eberflus did express optimism earlier in the summer and in the spring that he would be ready for training camp, and maybe he will pretty soon, but at least to start here, he's on the NFI list, which suggests he is not fully recovered at this point in time. And I think there are potential ramifications here, especially if he's going to miss somewhat significant more time. Look at the offensive line. Obviously, Amegadjie's not expected to start right away, but they invested a third-round pick into him. I think in an ideal role, he's your swing tackle this year. The next year he pushes for a starting job, whether it's as a tackle or as a guard. But let's say he's not ready, and even when he does get healthy, he needs time to adjust to the NFL game. I think that could mean a lot of things. What does that mean for Larry Borom? Is Matt Pryor going to be this team's swing tackle? Do they need to go sign somebody to add some depth? We'll dive into all that here in a sec as well, because we simply just don't know what the timetable is. Is he going to be back in 10 days, or does he need another month or two? I don't know. It was a major quad injury, but he suffered it last October, and I read it could be anywhere from 8 to 12 months. So you're kind of at that 8.5, 9-month mark right now. You'd hope to have him back by, I don't know, August 1st, Hall of Fame game. Not for him to play in that, but to kind of really start practicing around that time. But it's unclear. I'm sure once we hear from Matt Eberflus for the first time at training camp, we'll get a clearer direction on where that's going. Some of the ramifications, though. I think number one is that swing tackle job is up for grabs, and that's a very important one. Offensive linemen get hurt all the time. You would like your backup swing tackle to be at least someone who can step in and hold his own. Larry Borom has been decent in that role, and I think this potentially helps his roster chances. We've certainly talked about him as a cut and or a trade candidate, because if you cut him loose, it saves you over $3 million in cap space. But if Amegadjie's not ready to go, I think Borom's got a shot. Matt Pryor, obviously, I would give the inside track to win that job as of now, but he just joined the team this offseason, so I think that's going to be a battle. But those two guys are in better standing than they were before, perhaps, because obviously Amegadjie is going to take up a roster spot if he's healthy. And then number three, do you consider signing a veteran offensive tackle? And what I want to dive into coming up next is, could the Bears sign David Bakhtiari? Packers legend, obviously very good offensive tackle who's had some injury issues in recent years. There's been a little online chatter that the Bears could go in that direction, so I want to discuss it here on Chicago Bears Now. But before we get to that, what is your concern level with Kiran Amegadjie's injury? Scale from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not concerned at all. He's a rookie. Give this time. 10 being you're very concerned. I'm at like a 4 because he's not expected to start. This year, in a lot of regards, is probably going to be a redshirt year for him anyway to adjust going from Ivy League football to the NFL, but he's got all the physical tools to be a really good player down the road. So I'm at a 4, but certainly would like to get him out there and start practicing at the NFL level. Now, David Bakhtiari. Some recent betting odds have the Bears, and I was surprised by this, as the favorites to sign Bakhtiari. And the reason I am surprised is because a lot of the discussion around the Bears on who they could add in terms of the offensive line has been interior. Do you go get a Connor Williams? Do you go get a guard? Because Darnell Wright at right tackle and Braxton Jones at left tackle are pretty solid, right? Like, you don't need to go get a starting tackle necessarily, and Bakhtiari throughout his entire career has been just that. The issue for him now is the injuries have really piled up. 2020 tore his ACL late that year. That carried over through the next season, played in just 1 game. 2022 played in 11 games, missed 6 games, but had his knee flare up again. Last year, knee was an issue all year, had to get another surgery. The knee issues are significant at this point. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, he's missed more football than he's played over the past 4 seasons, which would lead one to believe if you're going to sign him, what can you really expect? I think you can expect when he's out there, he'll play well, but when's he going to be out there? It's kind of hard to say. And then you add in this too. Would he actually come here? The history between the Packers and the Bears, which, on the outside looking in, that probably doesn't matter as much for players as it does for fans, media, etc., but it's a consideration. And two, if he's not told he's even going to have a chance to compete for a starting job, which I don't think he would unless Braxton Jones really struggled in the preseason, then maybe he would in that scenario. But Braxton Jones, if nothing else, is solid at left tackle. Like, is he going to sign up to be a swing tackle for cheap? That seems unlikely to me, but if he's hell-bent on playing and there aren't starting opportunities out there, who knows? Maybe he would be interested in just doing that. So it would surprise me if it happened really from both standpoints, both the Bears and Bakhtiari's. But, hey, if he, made it clear he wanted to go to Chicago and the Bears were like, yeah, I mean, if you want to come here for the vet minimum, sure. I mean, I'd sign him up. There's no real downside. And if he's healthy and does have to play, he's a damn good player. It's just the injuries, and you talk about knees with offensive linemen, it doesn't typically get better, and I think that's proven to be the case over the last 3.5 years. Hit that subscribe button here on Chicago Bears Now. When news drops, we have you covered. We also hit the biggest rumors circulating around this team and a whole lot more. We'll, of course, have daily training camp updates starting very, very soon. So hit the sub button, turn on notifications, and do not miss out with anything we got going on here on the channel, including our live shows every Monday and Thursday and when big breaking news happens. We also have a deal for you guys. This t-shirt is on sale for about 40% off right now. Chatsports.com/Bears shirt. That link will be in the comments and in the description. Kind of just a clean, classic Bear shirt with the Bear logo there. Pick it up today. Click and shop. Chatsports.com/Bears shirt. Okay, some other news. Earlier this morning, Adam Schefter said that the Bears are working out Jags free agent linebacker Shaquille Quarterman today. Maybe someone you've heard of, but if you haven't, here's a little background on him. He is a linebacker, played his college ball at Miami in Florida. 4th-round pick in 2020, so had some pedigree coming out of college. Has played in 63 career games, including all 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons, so he's been healthy. But he's never started a game. He's basically been a core special teamer, which those guys have value, obviously. And with this new kickoff rule, teams are looking for more special teams guys to make an impact. You look at the career stats, 54 tackles, TFL, 1 forced fumble. Tells you he hasn't played a ton on defense. Most of his work has been on special teams. But again, you always need a few of those guys. I guess this one was just a little puzzling to me because you already kind of have your linebacker special teamer in Amin O, right? Like, he was your Dylan Cole replacement. He's been a core special teamer for a few years, was most recently with the Chargers. He's not going to start for you on defense, which he never started with the Jags. So who is he competing with? Is he competing with Micah Baskerville, Noah Sewell? Maybe they don't think Sewell's as far along, or maybe they're just like, hey, this guy's played a lot of football. Let's just work him out, see what it looks like. I mean, that happens all the time as well. So if they did bring him in, just be clear to set expectations. This would be a special team signing. He's not going to impact the defense, in my opinion, whatsoever. I think he's your 5th linebacker at best if you were to bring him in. So we'll see if he makes the team, and if he does, again, it's just going to be on 4th down. He's going to be a 4th down guy playing on special teams, kickoff, punt units, etc. So we'll see if this comes to fruition, but didn't want to pass that news along to you. Be honest, have you heard of Shaquille Quarterman before today? Type Y for yes and for no. This is the time of year, 90-man rosters. These teams are shuffling guys on the back end of the roster quite a bit to try and find diamonds in the rough. So you're going to see names float around like, I've never heard of that guy before. Y for yes and for no. Let me know if you've heard of this guy or not. And then I kind of just wanted to celebrate briefly just the fact that Bears football is back. I know they're not teeing it up until August 1st in the preseason opener for the Hall of Fame game against the Texans in Canton, but it's here, guys. Rookies reported Tuesday. Veterans report tomorrow. First training camp practice is on Saturday. First practice open to the public is next Friday. Got the Hall of Fame game against the Texans on August 1st, 2 weeks from today. We made it. We got through the dog days, finally, of the NFL offseason, and now there's a lot more football to discuss, which makes me happy and hopefully makes all of you happy as well. And we'll be here to cover it all. So, again, if you haven't, hit the subscribe button. Join us for all of it. Trying to get to 100,000 subs on the channel as soon as possible. We're at 94 and change. Appreciate all the love and support. We'll keep the coverage going.